thunder. So
Okay.
I'm going to introduce Michaela. This is our session with Dr. Brady Barr. Dr. Brady Barr, you prefer to be called Dr. B, or what do you want to be called, Dr. B?
You guys can call me whatever you want.
Hey, you might get a what's up,
Just keep it
Brady?
clean.
Yeah, keep it
That's
clean.
fine. That's fine. It
So-
doesn't matter to me.
So, okay, so I'm going to introduce Michaela. Again, this is Heartland Dual Credit Course with Dr. Brady Barr. Thanks, Brady.
You bet.
Hello, Dr. Brady.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time out of your life to be able to Skype with us, and it's a huge honor for us to be able to talk to you.
All right. I look forward to it.
Good. We're going to start with our questions, and first up is Jessica.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Barr.
Hey, Jessica.
So you have your own TV show. How did you go about getting a TV show for something that you absolutely love doing?
Well, I didn't set out to get a TV series. When I first started, which is over 20 years ago, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to work with animals. I appeared on a number of episodes of an old science series called Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill took me to National Geographic, and he was retiring and said, look, this is the guy that needs to replace me. National Geographic signed me on with the understanding that I would host a kids series, but that never happened because they never had kids programming. So I just started doing, what I'm good at, which is snakes and crocs and animals like that. So it's funny how things work out. I mean, you don't plan to do something, and you never can fathom what doors are going to open and close. And I became, the host of this TV series. And as I said, I've been doing it for 20 years.
That's very awesome. Thank you.
Next on deck.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
My question was, what's your most memorable injury or bite that you received?
Wow, that's tough. That's really tough because it's usually the one that's the most recent that you remember. Well, I was most recently bitten by a monkey in China. A bad deal. I mean, you don't ever want to be bitten by a monkey because you can get all sorts of bad stuff. Yeah, that's tough. Any croc bite is bad because you can potentially lose a limb. I mean, if they get a hold of you, you're going to lose whatever they get a hold of. So it'd probably be any number of croc bites. The snake bites usually aren't that painful. They're quick and easy. It's, some of these other animals that, I shouldn't say that because pythons are bad. Pythons have these big flesh-ripping teeth about the size of your fingers. So I guess the answer is I'm not sure. They're all bad. That one you received is the worst, I guess. The monkey bite.
Okay, thank you.
Hello again.
Hey, I know you.
I know you too. My question was, what grade did you teach, and would you ever go back to teaching in a classroom?
My question for you is, why didn't you ask your question first? not see you coming back.
I just wanted to talk to you again.
All right. What age did I teach? Well, I taught high school, and I taught 9th through 12th. A number of classes, like 9th grade biology. I taught zoology. I taught earth science. I taught life science. So pretty much different grades, 9 through 12, various sciences. And what was the last part of the question?
Would you ever do it again?
Yeah, maybe. Classrooms have changed a lot since I was a teacher, which has been 30 some odd years ago. From what I've seen, and I spend a lot of time in classrooms now with kids and teachers, and classroom's much more structured. Teachers don't have as much ability to do what they want. Granted, there are different situations and scenarios, but across the board, the day is more structured, the year is more structured. So I don't know. I mean, I still teach a lot. I'm just not. I don't have to show up at the same classroom every day.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Hello, Dr. Barr. It's nice to finally meet you. Ritter's always talking to me about stuff that you're doing, and I've never actually seen your face, so it's nice to finally meet you.
so whoa. You don't watch me on television.
No, I never have.
What? All right, next person, next question. That's enough of you.
Okay. If you weren't the host of your TV show that I've never seen, what would you want to do?
Well, probably, you know, I do very little filming anymore. I mean, maybe one film a year. What I spend most of my time doing now is going to schools, zoos, aquariums, children's museums, and talking to kids like you about various, you know, topics on the environment or conservation. And that's what I really like doing, is that kind of stuff. I'm spokesperson for an online game called Animal Jam, which is for little kids. And they ask me questions, and I answer them through video answers and also, you know, film short animal clips. So I guess the answer is working with kids and, you know, speaking at zoos and aquariums around the world.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch my show. Do yourself a favor.
Hi, I'm Abby. My question for you is, what is your favorite place that you have traveled to and why?
Another tough question. You know, that's tough because different places have their own unique characteristics. I like Southeast Asia a lot. I like big wild places, and Southeast Asia still has a lot of those. Cambodia is fantastic, Vietnam, Malaysia. I can't really answer that. Cuba is a fantastic place. Places that have been sealed off for the rest of the world always are fantastic. But in saying that, Alaska is one of the most beautiful, remote, wild places I've ever been. So, again, difficult to answer. There's lots of nice places. I guess it all depends on what you're into. You know, I'm kind of stuck in the tropics working on crocs and snakes, so those usually are at the top of my list.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Hollis. My question for you is, was it easy for you to decide your career?
You know, again, I think especially in talking to kids your age, is you just can't fathom what doors are going to open up for you or what opportunities are going to present themselves. I always was into animals, and I can remember like it was yesterday, my high school counselor sitting me down and saying, well, what the heck do you want to do? Work in a zoo? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just like animals. And, you know, you can't, it's really difficult to know exactly what you'd want to do because you can't fathom what opportunities may present themselves. As I said, I liked kids and teaching. I became a teacher right after getting my undergraduate degree, taught for 5 or 6 years, then went back to grad school. I just went back to grad school because I wanted to work on crocodiles. You know, I never dreamed that I'd go to work for National Geographic, be a resident scientist and on television. So, you know, I think that my best advice is to do what you love and you have a passion for, and don't let anybody, your parents, high school counselors, whomever, tell you that you can't do something. I guess I should have included a piece of the story. My high school counselor said, what do you want to do, work with animals? Well, that's silly. You become a business major. Go to business school and be a businessman. So what did I do? I went to Indiana University and I majored in business. And I hated it and I hated life and I almost flunked out. I switched to education, loved it, got to work with kids and animals, and the rest is history. So moral of the story is, do what you want to do, not what other people want you to do or tell you what to do. And things will work out. I mean, they just have a way of working out, especially if you have a passion and enthusiasm for something.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Brady. I'm Kelly.
I was wondering what the hardest part of your job is.
Well, two answers. One is travel. I got a really beat up old body and I got a bad back, and it's just the flights, it's travel. I mean, sitting on a plane for 20 hours, I'd rather stick needles in my eyes than sit on a plane for that long. It's just, I almost can't do it anymore, and that's a big reason why I don't do it as much as I used to. And along with that, it's just being away from home, being away from my kids. I have little kids, and to be away for weeks at a time is tough on them and tough on me. So it's the travel and just missing out on everyday life here at home.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Barr. My name is Bailey Ritter, and it's also nice to finally meet you. My dad talks about you all the time, and I have seen your show because it's on at my house 24/7.
You're my favorite student.
But my question is, what are some current projects that you're working on?
Well, for like the last 2 years, I've been putting just about all my efforts in trying to get a kids series on television, and man, that is a hard nut to crack. Nobody seems to want to do kids educational television anymore. And I mean, look, television is hard. It's all moving to the internet. Television is a dinosaur. It's going away. So that's what I've been working on. I got projects with kids going on all over the world with National Geographic. So it's kind of, I already answered this earlier. It's, I speak at zoos and aquariums and kick off various projects, around the world.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Mr. Barr. I'm Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. Are
And
there any boys in this class?
Yes, there is. There's how many is in here? 4.
I don't know.
There's 2 people missing, so there's 6. But
Oh,
there's 2
6.
missing.
Okay. My question is, what is the biggest reptile you have handled, and how big was it?
It was a crocodile. I mean, crocodiles are arguably one of the largest predators, if not the largest non-marine predator on the planet. I caught an animal a few years ago which was 6 meters, weighed well over a ton. It was the largest crocodile ever captured alive and released. You just can't believe how big some of these animals are. I mean, their head is as long as you are. And every day there's fewer of these giant crocs on the planet because we as people like to kill them out of fear, ignorance, or whatever. But I've caught a handful of big crocs, but that's the biggest. It was a Nile croc in Africa, in the country of Tanzania. Saltwater crocodiles get big too, but I like to go after Niles. They got a little better disposition than salties.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh. Hello.
Hey.
I'm Kelly, the
Yeah.
other one. How many times have you been bitten by animals?
Oh, well, I mean, again, I don't keep track. Those are the kind of things you want to forget. But saying that, I mean, I haven't been bitten that many times. If you do what I do, you can't. I mean, you have to be careful, especially with venomous. I've never been bitten by a venomous snake, at least a bad one. And you just got to be careful. If you're not going to be around long. I mean, if you work with crocs, as I said, these animals can cut you in half with one bite. They got the strongest bite on the planet. I've measured one at 5,000 pounds, 2.5 tons.
Wow.
That's just going to cut you in half, and a venomous snake's going to kill you if you're in a remote area. So, look, I've been bitten by a lot of things, but it's not as many as you think, just because, I mean, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. To elaborate on that question, man, before I had kids, I was out there grabbing stuff right and left and taking all sorts of crazy chances. Then when I had kids, and 2 things. I had kids and I had a good friend which was killed by a snake. And I said, this is crazy. It's not worth dying over TV, and it's not worth dying over science. So I just don't grab some of the stuff like I used to. I mean, it's not worth dying for.
Well, hi, I'm Katie.
So just take up some of your time.
Did you ever meet Steve Irwin?
No, it's funny though because I've met most of the other. I mean, I meet them all. You'd think that the planet was big enough we'd never run into each other, but man, we'll be in some of the most remote places on the planet, and there's so and so or there's so and so. But no, me and Irwin started the same year, and strangely, no. But I have many people that are on my crew worked with him and were actually the crew that was with him when he died.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Who's up? Who's on deck?
Hi, I'm Xavier.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What are some ways that you think we can take our class outside of the room?
Well, that's easy. You just gotta open your mind. I mean, there's nature all around you, and that's kind of the things I talk about. Is the vacant lot down the street, and I go to inner city schools here around Washington D.C. where I am, and kids are amazed to find out that there are trees that are 300 years old and turtles that are 100 years old, and I think you just got to open your eyes and look around. I mean, you guys, I grew up not far from where you guys are right now. I grew up in southern Indiana. So, just outside your room is a lot of wild places, and within a day's drive, man, you got everything from, ancient forests to swamps to lakes to lake fronts and all things in between, caves. So anyway, I think it's just a matter of opening your eyes and doing a little exploring and find out what is close at hand and getting after it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Dr. Barr. My name's Logan, and I've also never seen your TV show.
Well, you can just get up and move on to the next person then.
All right. No, I'm just kidding. But I was wondering, what's your favorite study you've ever done?
Well, I specialize in a few things, so it's like, and that's a good question, really good question. I was the first person to put satellite transmitters on crocodiles in fresh water, and I put them on these big Nile crocs in Kruger National Park. That was a great study. I liked it because then afterwards, you could just sit, I could sit at home and track their movements on my computer. You could do it in your classroom, and that was a first for me because I'd done years and years and years of just tracking them by hand, and man, that's an incredibly labor-intensive project. I've done a lot of diet studies. Some of those were first ever on really endangered species in remote areas. Like I did a diet study on dwarf crocs in the Congo in a really remote area, and those were always rewarding too. It'd be something on crocs, but man, those satellite transmitters are great. I like the technology, the cutting edge. I've done a few things with robots, which is always cool. Seeing if robots can catch snakes and crocs, and I got one coming up where we're going to see if robots can go in caves and capture jaguars in the Yucatan. I'm looking forward to that one. So, it's the ones with technology. Oh, no, you know what? I just thought of another one. You guys have all seen probably the great white sharks breach, when they attack seals. We put a dynamometer in a seal decoy which measures force to see how powerful those great whites were hitting the seals. But we used a remote control helicopter to film it from above. And man, that was an incredible project because, no one had really ever done that before. And to see what was going on underwater before those things exploded out of the water and then see how much force they hit the seals with, that was a lot of fun. So anyway, I guess the bottom line is there's been a lot of them, but they always involve cutting edge technology.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, good question.
Hi, Dr. Barr. I'm JB, and we recently watched an excerpt of one of your shows where you were in a cave with a python, like knee deep, like waist deep in bat guano, and you got bit. I just want to know what your thought process was when that happened to you.
Yeah, that's called the bite heard around the world. Very famous bite. Got a lot of media attention. Well, if you listen closely, you know, we had that thing by the tail, and I kept saying, "Where's the head? Where's the head?
Yeah.
Where's the head?" Man, I knew what was coming. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be me. We weren't about to let go of that snake because been looking for a big snake for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
After I got bitten, when that thing was attached to me, because it had me wrapped up too. I mean, it had both of my legs, it had the other guy wrapped up. I was horrified that it was going to pull me off my feet and I was going to drown in that bat guano, never to be seen again. So that was my big fear. And then once it released, I can't tell you how scared I was that I was going to receive another bite, and I didn't think I could take another one. That was bad, and I knew there was another bite coming, and I just didn't want it to be me. And it was, you know, a race against time to try to secure that head before another bite came. Then after we caught the snake, man, what's going through my mind was when, you know, I get this horrible open gaping wound in bat guano. And I just had a friend in the States who got a minor cut on her leg doing some research, just, in a place close to home, and got a horrible infection and lost her leg. And I mean, that's going through my mind because I'm on this remote island in Indonesia. So again, it was a race against time to try to get out of there and get to a doctor. So I guess to answer your questions, there was a lot going through my mind at various stages of that attack.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I've been to that cave 4 times. It's put me in the hospital twice, and my producer in the hospital once. It is a dangerous place.
Sounds like bad luck.
But I would go back tomorrow. It's also a wonderful place.
All right. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Grace, and my question is, what is one animal you haven't seen but would like to?
It's a good question, because I always have a hit list. I always have animals that I want to interact with. Recently, it was the polar bear was at the top of my list, and I got to do that one. At one time, it was the platypus. Now it's the walrus. I want to do something with a walrus. And, that's probably it. I can't think of, the list has been very long, but over the course of 30 years, man, I've been marking them off. I think other than the walrus, maybe an okapi. Those are probably the only animals that I really would like to work with that I haven't seen or interacted with in the wild.
All right.
And and it's walrus cold weather. I haven't done much in cold weather.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in the tropics. So polar bear was at the top of the list. Now the walrus.
All right. Thanks.
So.
Hi, Dr. Barr. I'm Jacob. I was just wondering what it's like with dealing with animals that could potentially end your life at any moment.
Stressful. Very stressful. And the older I've gotten, the more stressful it's become. And, well, there's a lot of things that go into it. I mean, it's always stressful, and as I said, you cannot do this without being careful. You got to be careful or you're going to die. The older I've gotten, the more frequent the injuries have become. And it's because my reaction time's gotten slower. And also, since I had kids, I started thinking twice about doing some things instead of just acting on instinct and just doing it and going. So both of those things put me much more at risk. Older and slower reaction time, the animals are younger and faster, and me thinking twice about things. So I don't do the dangerous stuff like I used to. I mean, I was gonna die. I mean, I had in a span of like 3 years, horrible surgery requiring injuries in a row. And it wasn't a coincidence. It's because I just reached the point where I was gotten so slow that the animals are just too fast for me. I mean, some of these snakes and even crocs, I mean, their reaction time is about 1/5 of a second. I mean, that's like mammalian reaction time. It's almost impossible. It is impossible for you to see what's happening and then react and get away from them if you're in their danger zone. And the danger zone is different for snakes and crocs. But, you make a mistake and you're in that danger zone, it's impossible to get away. You're going to die. So I backed off and spend more time with people like you than angry crocodiles in faraway lands.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, buddy. So we've got to the end of them, but before we sign off, a couple things. One, I wanted to give you a quick update.
That's your class? That's it?
Yeah.
Class sizes these days are like 30 kids. You got like 14 kids?
So I'm scaring them away with all these things that we make them do, but no, it's actually what's cool is these kids spend a lot of time trying to get into this class because it's a dual credit course with a community college, and so they're actually getting credit with a college for taking this class, and so there was something like 85 kids who wanted to take it, but they had to go through XYZ, and these are the kids who made the cut on that thing, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, these kids are the best of the best. These kids are also the ones who've been doing Operation Endangered Species for the last 4 years. Just to let you know, we put our first 100 turtles in the wild in June or July. In July, and we did the telemetry right before last month, the end of last month, and all 100 are living.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Wait. Well, how do you know that?
So they have trackers on every one of them, and so we got pings back on every one of the turtles.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're all alive.
They could be. Yeah.
Animal, and you're still tracking.
Sure. Sure. Well, I'm being optimistic. So.
Tracking crocs, man, it happens all the time. You're like, oh man, this is great, and 3 months down the road, I figure out that I'm not tracking the croc, that I'm tracking a snake that ate the croc, or a bird that ate the croc that was eaten by a snake.
Yeah.
It's amazing how those transmitters will, so.
It's crazy, but I think the coolest thing that came out so far is in Illinois, we haven't seen one since '83, and they were moving one of the turtles because there was 3 or 4 pings in the same place, and so they were removing one of them. And when they did, they grabbed underneath this log into a big thicket and pulled out a turtle, and it was too large. It was much larger, and in the process, they discovered a 35-year-old alligator snapping turtle that had previously been undiscovered since '83, and so they found
it had been captured once before.
No, it was a wild organism.
Well, how did you said 1983?
So in '83 was the last time anybody in the state has seen a alligator snapping turtle, and so they're good at hide and go seek. So I mean that's true, but nobody has seen one since 1983.
What size were your animals when you released them?
I would say about 500 grams, maybe. So we released 2, 4, and 6-year-old head starts that we had been starting in the classroom, and the rest of them were from Tishomingo, Oklahoma, at U.S. Fish and Wildlife there. But we took 15, 20 kids down to southern Illinois into the drainage basin down at Horseshoe Lake, and put the tags on, or the transmitters on them, and then took them out and released them. And so these kids, a lot of these kids were directly involved with that and letting them go, which was an unbelievable adventure. I mean, it was cool for them, and I was just excited to get to see them in action, so we've got 7 more years that we'll do that. And hopefully the breeding population, they'll come back in 5 years and do a reassessment and see if our study's working. But so far, there's 100% of the tags are still going. Let's just say that. So,
all right.
One of the things that the kids would like to do is they want to take a selfie with you if you don't mind. So. I'll tell you when to smile if you don't mind, but we'll take a picture. I'll get all the kids up to the board and then just tell you when to smile, and we'll take a selfie, and then we'll let you go. And
Do you want to use your phone or mine?
I'll use my phone.
Okay.
Everybody get to where you can get. I appreciate this a lot.
No problem.
Everybody get in there. Hey, do me a favor and tell me Lynn I said hello, and hope everything is going well there. And hold on, they're getting in here. Everybody in? Okay, I'm coming. Hang on, I'll tell you when to smile.
No, I can see in the back.
Okay. All right, hold on. Get in there, tighter. Stay right there. You can see Brady. All right, and smile, Brady. One more. All right, we got it.
All right.
All right, so hey.
Have a great Thanksgiving break.
You too.
Keep in touch, and we'll do it again sometime.
I appreciate everything, Brady. I'll make it up to you.
All right, see you guys.
Bye. All right. So that turned out wonderful.
He was a lot more fun to talk to than Jim. Yeah, Jim was kind of.
So-
He learned a lot of things. Yeah, you could tell the difference. Jim was way more formal.
So what do you think?
I liked it.
All right, so we've got to start putting this project together because I'm going to get called to the floor on this at some point. So we need the website taken care of. We need bios written on these guys, and we need to make sure that we start sending the oh shoot.
Still recording. It's a good thing you just noticed though, because if that would have been going on all day.
Ritter, were all these phones up here for? Ones that he's taken from students that go off.